Hello, my name is Jim Fielders. Welcome to this video. It talks about how students can partner with a senior and have affordable housing for both students and the senior when it comes time to move. We help students get a start in life. You can be part of a live-work co-op shared with a senior in which you are part owner. You get low-cost housing that you can share with like-minded people and a senior. You can generate income in addition to help pay for your education. First step is to find and purchase a property. We will take an example of four families with students who want to find a property to purchase from a willing senior and experience a shared living arrangement. The senior needs rental income now and to sell when needed due to health. They form a live-work co-op to purchase a property. Shares in the co-op are $500 each. So let's talk about co-ops for both housing and for work. Housing co-op examples are available through Canada. One of the most successful was in Ontario in the late 1990s. They just haven't built any for the last 40 years. Work co-ops, on the other hand, are very common in rural areas where farmers buy supplies like seed in bulk and get good prices, and they'll do banking at what are called credit unions, and they are part owners in both of these co-ops. There are also producer co-ops for farmers who want to sell their produce, and collectively they get better prices. The Canadian Cooperatives Act permits a variety of co-ops, including both housing and work, and creating a combination live-work co-op is straightforward. Once they buy the property, they build two ADUs, accessory dwelling units, in the rear yard. They arrange to build two of these on the property and rent them out for income. The property has to be suitable with a side lane to deliver the units, and the units will be energy and carbon efficient. Here is an example of a potential layout with the house near the front and two units at the back, and all of them are solar powered. Income is generated from renting the units at market value. The students can also give lessons or produce goods for sale on the property. Each member has an equal say in the operation and can leave at any time. They do this by selling their share at what they paid for it. They can share a vehicle among all of the students as well, preferably an electric vehicle. Here are the property search criteria. We're looking at a single family lot that's zoned for 40% lot coverage with allowance for two units at roughly 300 square feet minimum each. We would like a side driveway wide enough to deliver an 8-foot wide modular home on a flatbed trailer. We would need connection to water, sewer, and power, and there should be enough sun exposure for solar power. Now, the ADUs can provide accommodation for tenants at market rent. We could also look at short-term rentals, but it may be more complicated. There are some issues with Airbnb. Here are some examples of accessory dwelling units or tiny homes. They come in all shapes and sizes. A lot of them are not legal, especially in cold weather like Ontario. So any product that is purchased has to comply with the local building codes in terms of insulation and heating, cooling, ventilation. And this is one with solar power. And the internal layout can be optimized for energy efficiency. So how do seniors benefit? Some seniors, even though they live on a big property and a big house, may have a financial shortfall. Both currently, and if they have to move into long-term care or another type of housing. If we look at this table, we just assume that the senior has an income from savings and pensions of $25,000, but the operating costs of the house can be 11,000 or more, and then they have living costs on top of that. So their net income could be negative. And then when they move into a long-term care facility, which costs about 4,000 a month, they could again be short. So selling their property while they still live in it can be of benefit to both the senior and the students. For example, a house that has no mortgage could have a significant amount of equity. Now, the house could be sold and the profits invested at, say, 4%. Or another option that would help the student co-op is to take back a mortgage and get a monthly income from that of roughly $65,000 annually. Now let's look at the costs to the student co-op. We look at a house with a value of $1 million and also one at $500,000. The initial upfront costs with purchasing and ADUs and whatever is 1.286 million and 786 respectively. So for the two scenarios here, we would have a mortgage of 73,000 a year or 41,000, and then operating costs would be proportionately 16,500 in each case. So the net amount of costs would be 90,000 or close to 60,000. Now we can look at the revenues. Again, for a $1.5 million home, the students could generate money through teaching, say, English as a second language or music lessons. It all depends on what their interests and talents are. We would have a solar power system through the net metering in Ontario that would bring in enough money to pay for the electricity uses. And then the ADU rentals could be about 30,000 a year. So the net profit is negative, but if you divide that amongst the four students, the rent on a monthly basis would be between $820 and even as low as $153. Getting back to the co-op itself, in terms of membership and administration, this is probably new to a lot of people, but the policies and procedures would be in place, and they would include rules for admitting new members, maintaining waiting lists, and ensuring fair access to housing. The members could elect directors, participate in meetings, and vote on important matters like budgets and policies. And in terms of the operation of a shared living house, the items that have to be addressed are conflict resolution, financial management, eviction procedures, provincial regulations, and shared living rules. And we can provide all the details in the handbook for people who are interested in this. So if you're interested in this, what are the next steps? Well, first of all, we have to find students. Then we have to find a senior with a house. We have to create a business plan, then form a co-op, purchase the property, construct the ADUs. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want more information, please contact me at my website or the email shown below. Goodbye.